Takk for at dere kom. These have changed everything in Friluftsliv. I've been working in the field and, well, in the world of Friluftsliv, outdoor education, for more than 30 years. But when these came along, I felt like everything changed, and I wanted to learn more and more about it. And so that's kind of the utgangspunktet for this presentation, this research. I'm also really interested in equalities. And more than 25 years ago, at a European conference of outdoor education, the folks got together, and one of the main, the big theme of the conference was diversity and inclusion. And I really like this quote, and it stayed with me. That's Barbara Humberstone and colleagues talking about how inclusive really is our outdoor education community, or our Friluftsliv community, and not just what it's giving to people, but what are others giving to it, to us. So, we know that mobile devices and social media, and just generally being connected, some people call this the networked architecture of everything from mobile phone towers that repeat 5G and 4G signals everywhere, to very powerful algorithms that feed us stuff that we love to read and see, very self-affirming messages that we receive. I'm interested in this landscape of social media and Friluftsliv because I've said they're changing. We all know that world is changing, but with any kind of shifting social arrangements, there are some people who stand to benefit or to not benefit, to lose maybe more than others. So this is what I'm trying to understand at a deeper level. Now, a quick plug. This is a handbook that came out. I was one of the 2 editors. It just came out 3 months ago. There are 38 chapters in it that talk about this kind of stuff, with 62 authors from around the world. It's expensive. You don't have to buy it. If you are interested in reading a single chapter in it, email me and I will send you a PDF of it. On the side, secret, but I didn't say that. I'm going to pass this around, and just pass it around, and if there is a chapter you think, oh, I'd be interested in that, just send me an email and I'll send it to you, okay? But don't tell Routledge, the publisher, that. But if you do want to buy the ebook, that'll give you, that QR code gives you 25% off. Great. Social media. Quick definition, right? This is generally, social media involves prosumers and consumers. Prosumers, they give, they provide content, and the consumers, they consume the content. And a lot of social media, well, it involves influencers, people who they have a strong influence on what people think is good, what people think is right. And right away, I imagine you're thinking about some of the Friluftsliv organizations and Friluftsliv individuals that you might follow, and they are effectively holding they have a lot of power in influencing what we do and what we think. There's some really cool individual influencers out there, some really edgy ones in North America. The language is incredible. Like, I'm just like, oh, wow. There are Instagram sites called Fat Girls Hiking, Brown People Camping. I was like, holy shit, can we even use that language? But in North America, that language is used. It almost seems to me like it's reclaiming the language. Like we're going to own those words. So there's a fascinating literature about that. This is an American woman here, but some of you who are Oslo people might know. Does anybody know Abdur på tur? Fantastisk. So yeah, he puts out TikTok videos. It's incredible. So there are what's interesting also, I think, in this social media Friluftsliv landscape uh, is that there are some very normative kind of this is what Friluftsliv looks like. This is how you need to do it. But there are also some individuals who are um, they are people who are they're kind of part of a cultural resistance. They're saying, no, it doesn't have to be that way. They're part of the pushback on what a greater kind of accepted ideal of Friluftsliv might look like. There's a growing body of literature here. Tiffany Lowe in Wales looks at women's outdoor adventurers on Instagram. Søren and Ida, Søren and a colleague have done work on Danish Facebook groups. Really cool stuff like, I'm an outdoor adventurer. Søren, what's your colleague's name? Thank you. Tom Bratrid, Norwegian, looking at how people are kind of reimagining their identities online, through being like a hardcore outdoors person. And there's in Friluftsliv tourism, there's sharing the epic and some work that I've done there. But a really good paper, if you're interested, is Fiona Stanley's paper on unlikely hikers. It's a great paper. Anbefales. So, assumptions behind all this are that, well, my assumptions, my kind of starting point is that we need to interrogate these images, particularly those from people that a lot of people are following, right? Rose, who is a researcher and writer on visual imagery, says that, I'm just going to look at the screen so I can read this carefully, but how these images, they kind of project very specific visions, right, about gender, class, race, sexuality, able-bodiedness, and all kinds of other marginalized populations. So, what we know in the world of social media research is that a lot of work has been done on individuals. Really cool, individual, edgy influencers. But very little research in comparison has been done on the organizations who influence. And particularly, there's very little research on Friluftsliv organizations who influence their publics. So this is what I wanted to look at. I wanted to look at Instagram posts from influential Norwegian Friluftsliv organizations, particularly to see how minority groups are represented. And it's interesting, an interesting and difficult part of this is that certain minority groups are very visible. If you have melanin-rich skin, it's visible, right? If you have mental health struggles, that's probably not visible. So there are some marginalized populations who may not see themselves in these social media posts. This is very exploratory work. Glenn asked me a moment ago, how many times have you done this presentation? And I woke up in the middle of the night, 3:30, thinking, oh, I need to do some more. And this is fresh. So the study design, how am I doing time-wise? Oh, I've used 11 minutes. Okay, so I've got 4. 5. Oi, oi, oi. Okay, now I'm going to speed up. That's the methodology. No, I'm just kidding. So what I did is I looked at 5 different accounts. So I apologize if I didn't include your organization, and I apologize if I did include your organization. I looked at DNT, Norsk Friluftsliv, Norges Jeger- og Fiskerforbund. They were the 3 big ones. And then I wanted to look at NIH Friluftsliv, of course, and Norsk Fjellsportsforum. So this fine-looking man is a student from France, and he said, oh, I'll help you. So he took 1,500 screenshots, or 14,1425, 1,000 screenshots, 1,425 screenshots that were in 436 different posts for these organizations. So thanks, Edgar. And this was done over 1 year. Just finished. So November last year until the end of October this year. The data analysis, I went looking specifically for people with melanin-rich skin, and then I also saw that women-only posts were quite a big thing that I had not expected. So that was more of an emerging theme that I picked up on. And one positive indicator was given for one post, because there are some posts that people use that call carousels, and they might put 10 photographs, right? As you know, if you use Instagram. This is an example of, this is the DNTs. This is 1 month. BIPOC stands for, it's the North American term for Black, Indigenous, people of color. There's some limitations there, but I'm short on time. But there are many limitations. But we can talk about that maybe a little bit later. But I want to get to the hovedrett. And in terms of trustworthiness, there's some stuff there. So lots of, I don't know why I switched to Norwegian at 4 a.m., but I don't know. It must have been the red wine. So lots of pictures of incredible locations. I learned a lot of stuff about rules and about cows. Lots of photos of dogs, lots of recipes, and stuff about health, and lots of tips for beginners. So lots of posts with women and girls only, which I thought was really impressive. And I don't want to get into kind of saying what specific organizations did or did not, but I will, except for one, and that is Norsk Friluftsliv. 59% of their posts are women only, which is, I think, quite amazing. That would be a big contrast. I have another data set from last year that I did with different organizations around the world, and there I can tell you it's a very different picture. Like the Australians, it's quite male-focused. Some accounts, but not all accounts, have photos with people with melanin-rich skin. There's some pretty cool stories of people who come from immigrant backgrounds. Yeah, and there's just a little shout out to Rebecca. And how come that didn't? Oh no. Yeah, it did. Sorry, Sarah Anderson, who did a great presentation yesterday about Friluftsliv as an arena for performing Norwegianness for immigrants. So I thought that was pretty cool. Little representation of indigenous populations, not that much actually. There is on February 6th, but that seems to be about it. And there's very little visible inclusion of LGBTQ plus population, people with mental and physical disabilities, and people who do not fit the kind of slim, athletic Norwegian outdoor ideal, can we say. So why does any of it matter? Who cares? So this is this quote from Sarah's PhD, but I think some of this does matter because there's some work done by Tyson here says that even if people and organizations think they are doing, are doing the right thing, their work may still be flawed because of its inadvertent promotion of, for example, sexist, classist, racist, heterosexist, or colonial values. So the message here is that even if organizations think they're doing things correctly and trying to do the right thing, they may inadvertently not be doing that. So I guess what I'm suggesting is that we need to really think more critically about our own posts, perhaps both as individuals. What are the messages we're sending? But it seems to me that Friluftsliv organizations have a certain duty to think really carefully about how they present themselves. What are the messages they're saying? Because these are deliberate posts. So they're effectively saying this is right, this is good, this is how we do things, this is what Friluftsliv looks like. So I think there's a certain duty to kind of have what you could call almost an aspirational set of messages of how we want Friluftsliv to be. You know? We're the influencers. Like, look around the room. We're the winners, right? We're all at this conference. We're academics. We hold certain positions in big, influential organizations, and we're on the ground with people as practitioners. We are the influencers. And my belief is that we have a duty to be very careful about the images that we project, because as Rose suggests, visual imagery is never innocent. Tack för mig.
Ja. Tusen takk.